Hello, hello. It is Chitter Chatter time. Alexa, volume 6. She got me screaming in here. Hello, ladies. Come on in. You know what time it is. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. It is Chitter Chatter time. Come on in tonight, ladies. And tonight we are speaking about breast cancer. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, ladies. We are speaking about it. We are wearing pink tonight. I have on my pink. You can't see my pants, but they are given. And I wish you could see the gives. And tonight, ladies, you know what we're going to do first. First things first, we are going to get our drink ready. And in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we are drinking pink tonight. So I got some box wine. Pink Moscato, ladies. That is what we're drinking tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and fill my cup. Refill. Hold on. I did that just for y'all. So we can go ahead and refill that. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Night, ladies. And we are going to have some ladies come in and speak about their experience, knowing about it, and just informing us. Because I was speaking to my sister earlier, and I was telling her some ladies, Alexa, volume 4. She trying to overpower me tonight. I was speaking to my sister earlier, and I was telling her, some people don't know anything about anything that doesn't affect them. There are some people out here that are unaware of what breast cancer is, what Breast Cancer Awareness Month means. They didn't even know that this month in particular was Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Some people don't know that we wear pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And me and her got deep because some people don't even know what COVID is. And that's just being extreme. But what we have to realize is in the entire world, time on my hands. We're not going to go there. But what we have to realize is there are some people that just because it applies to you, it doesn't mean that it applies to everyone else. Some people don't know about anything. So we are here just to let you ladies know what we know about breast cancer or cancer in general. And we're going to be speaking on our experiences. And we welcome you ladies in to Chitter Chatter. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, ladies. And tonight we are speaking about breast cancer awareness. Let's go ahead and toast in. Alexa, volume 10. Just for a sec. Why Mary come in like that? Alexa, volume 4. Alexa, volume 4. It's Breast Cancer Awareness, ladies. And we're going to have Miss Amanda come in. And she's going to host for us today, ladies. Before she comes in, I'm going to tell you 5 ways to connect with Uniqua because we have a lot of new things coming on. And Miss Amanda's going to be hosting this episode. So I'm going to step aside. And you can catch me on Facebook. I am Uniqua Manigault, UNIQUIA MANIGAULT. Follow me on Instagram. I am Uniqua. You can also follow me on YouTube, Uniqua Manigault. Again, that's UNIQUIA MANIGAULT. Also on LinkedIn, Twitter, I am Coco Plum. Ladies, Miss Amanda's going to come in a second. Are you ready, Miss Amanda? She's ready. I'm going to go ahead and bring her in. Hold on.
Absolutely, I am ready. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We are so happy to have you here with us here tonight. You're going to go ahead and take over the show. And be sure to introduce your guests and let them know that we are here on Chitter Chatter, and it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I'm so glad that you have on your pink, Miss Amanda.
I do, and I just wanted to show y'all my shirt. It says "Never Give Up." Absolutely, I love it. And it was made by one of our guests. She made this shirt for me. And so I am happy that she did because I am a supporter of her. And so tonight, you guys, as Uniqua said, we are talking about breast cancer, and there are different types of cancer. Some of them I'm not even aware of. But before we get started, I just want to show a little clip here before we get started and dive in. Give us Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. That was just a short snippet commercial, basically outlining what Chitter Chatter is. We represent Black Girl Beauty. Black Girl Beauty is all about empowering colored women and girls. And the main thing with Chitter Chatter is we talk about topics that are important, that are not normally discussed in our communities, in our household. And breast cancer happens to be one of those topics that we don't talk about a lot, but we should talk about it. In fact, when I went to do some research on breast cancer, I found out that it is the most common cancer amongst African Americans. In fact, 78%, they say 78% of African Americans that are diagnosed with breast cancer are estimated, oh God, to either not make it or end up in a serious condition or have a limited time. But tonight we have some guests on our show that will be able to go in a little in depth about what breast cancer is all about, how it has affected their lives, and what we can do, things that we can do as African American women to be more upfront, be more aware, take care of ourselves, get checkups. There are things that we can do to either catch it in time or help prevent it. I was reading also when I went to read some stuff about breast cancer, and it was saying that our healthcare system has really failed us. And oftentimes we are diagnosed with things either too late, or some of it could have been prevented had we went and got checkups or physicals or just did certain things in advance that we didn't do because of the fact that we had a lack of health care. So I was reading up on that, and I don't know how familiar our guest is about that, but we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight as well. And so the first thing, I'm going to bring them on early so we can dig deep into this topic. Both of these people are very special to me. I'm going to bring in my first guest right here. It's Christiana. Christiana, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell our guests, our audience, who you are, and exactly a little bit about your story, and then we're going to go into it a little bit later on.
Okay, my name is Christiana McCarty. I would say a little bit about my story. I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in November of 2020, and in July of this year, I have been cleared. I no longer have cancer, so that's the short version.
Wow, awesome. And then our next guest is Miss Mary Jeffcoat, who happens to be my dearest aunt, my mother's sister. And so this is special to me because hearing her story, of course, it touches me because she's very close in my family. And so I want her to introduce herself. I'm trying to see what happened. Introduce yourself, Aunt Mary, and tell them a little bit about you and briefly about your story, and we're gonna go into it a little bit more later.
Hi, I'm Mary Jeff Code. Happy Thursday, by the way. I'm Mary Jeff Code, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer in April of 2019. And it was kind of, well, it was a shock, of course, because that is a shock. But when you go more into the story, then I'll explain more about it. But it was 2019 that I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Okay, awesome. And so what is your while I have you still here, Mary, what is your perspective as far as where this cancer came from, how it was originated? What are your thoughts on that? Have you ever done any research on it, on why does it attack our bodies as African American women? Because tonight we represent Black Girl Beauty, and we want to talk to the Black women. We want to make them more aware, more self-conscious about their bodies, about their health. And what is your opinion on it? Because every time I'm reading something, it's like it's always more popular in African Americans. And so I still haven't figured that out yet. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts is I got so many thoughts when it comes to breast cancer because, like you say, it's been said that we as Black folks, it may attack our body more often than it do the white folks, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been, well, that's medical science, so that's just what it is. But my thing
Mm-hmm.
is this: we don't. I wouldn't say we don't take care of ourselves, but lots of time we just fail to get our examination every year like we should, and examine our own bodies too, because I found mine. The doctors didn't. The mammogram didn't. I found it myself in the shower, and I felt it, and I went to the doctor, and he examined me, and he said, "Oh, I don't think there's anything to worry about. I don't think there's anything." So okay, and I took that and went on a couple of months later, and I still felt it, and I went back. And then I demanded that he, do something about it because it was something different. Then he felt it. He said, "I think I do feel something there." And then he went and he felt it, and he sent me up for a diagnostic mammogram, and that's when it really, showed up. But my perspective is to look out for yourself. Don't depend on your healthcare provider to do it all. You got to look out for yourself. You examine yourself. You make sure you go for those appointments. And if you feel something different or unusual about your body, please, please, please check it out.
Wow, that is amazing. And that's my philosophy with life, is that I think that we depend on other people, whether it's our community, if we have kids in school, we depend on the teachers to do everything for our children. And we have got to get out of that. We've got to get away from expecting other people to care more about us than we care about ourselves. That's the bottom line to that.
Absolutely.
And so when you was doing your physical on yourself, I would say, because I often, do the exams on myself. But what exactly did you feel?
Take one
I
sip to
felt
take care of yourself, ladies.
I felt something on the side of my breast that wasn't ordinarily there. And
Mm-hmm.
we should know our own bodies, of course. And
Right.
so I
Yep.
kept telling him it is something there, it is something. And he kept feeling around, of course, until he finally felt it after I went back the second time. But I felt it, and a couple of months before he even did anything about it, I felt it, and I kept saying it's something here, it's something here. When I get in the shower, I feel and examine myself, and it really was there. And so
Wow.
we should know our body. I know my body. I knew it was there, and I felt it, and I demanded that something be done about it. And I'm a person that took a physical every year. I took a physical
Mm-hmm.
every year. I did a mammogram every year, but it didn't show
Wow.
up on my mammogram. And so
Mm.
I felt it myself. And after they did the diagnostic testing on me, then they found it.
So how
Mm.
long after you got that mammogram did you diagnose that something was going on?
Okay, you mean the diagnostic mammogram?
The one that
Because
you got at the hospital, yeah. You said you were getting them, you were regular getting them. So that last one that you got before you realized something was going on, what was the time frame in between that?
okay, usually I have my mammogram every year around my birthday, which is in March. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't feel anything, but I think it must have been somewhere over in the new year that I started feeling a little lump, a little hardness on the side of my breast. And I
Mm.
realized it was something that wasn't ordinarily there, that I just eventually showed up or just popped up, and it wasn't real. And that's when I started going back to the doctor. It must have been about a year, I think, before he really pinned this thing down. Because when he diagnosed me, I was in stage 2. And I've always felt that if he had, you know, did something or did that diagnostic mammogram when I first brought it to his attention, he might have would have
Mm-hmm.
caught it in stage 1.
Right. Wow.
Absolutely.
Mm-mm-mm.
Absolutely. Ladies, if you're just now
Amazing.
tuning in, this is Chitter Chatter, and we are speaking on breast cancer awareness. We have some great guests in here today, and they're going to be speaking on their experiences. We have to be aware, ladies. Like Mom Mary was telling us, we have to check on ourselves and be aware of everything going on with our bodies, because as Black women, we don't always get the best diagnosis. We don't always get the best situations and circumstances in life. So we have to be looking out for ourselves and checking out for ourselves. Take one sip to that, ladies. Check on yourself and make sure that you're making sure that your body is well. Like Mary said, she had to check for herself and found it, and then she went to the doctors. We have to be up on that as well when it comes to how we eat, how we move. Preparation matters, ladies.
Okay, Anna, can you answer that question for us? Can't hear you. Unmute yourself.
Hold on 1 second. I got it.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. I'm sorry.
You look pretty, by the way.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Well, I actually found lumps in my breast before I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and they told me not to worry about it. Oh, it more than likely is just fibroids because you have larger breasts. But in November, when I got diagnosed with lymphoma, when they retested me, they found out that the nodes that they found in my breast were actually active, but it wasn't enough for them to be concerned.
Wow.
So, but
what does that even mean?
Okay, after chemotherapy for the tumor that I had in my chest, when they went back and gave me my PET scan, the activity that was showing in my breast was no longer active. So clearly it needed to be addressed, but they just didn't address it.
When you say the activity in your breast was no longer active, like, what do you mean? Because to someone that has never been in this situation, or never even, like I said, sometimes there are women that don't know anything about it. Like, to a woman that may never have experienced this, or may have experienced and didn't know, when you say inactivity in your breast, could you actually feel it, or was that something that they told you, and what actually was it?
Okay, so like some people can get lumps in their breast that they have a lot of breast tissue, or even if you have smaller breasts, but some people can get fibroids in their breast. So they'll leave them there. It's not cancerous. It's not really anything to worry about. They just continue to give you mammograms to check it and make sure that it doesn't become active cancer. So I was told that my lumps that were in my breast were not active. But after getting a PET scan for my tumor in my chest, they discovered that they were active. And after getting chemo, they were no longer active. So it should have been taken care of 6 years ago.
Wow. So what stage were you at, Anna, when this happened?
Well, I never got fully diagnosed for the lumps in my breast. But for my Hodgkin's lymphoma, I was stage 2B.
So imagine had they, really diagnosed this early.
Yeah, but they told me with the Hodgkin's lymphoma diagnosis that I actually got diagnosed a lot earlier than most people, because most people come in and they're in stage 4. But because I just had a baby and I kept having pain in my chest and I couldn't breathe, they ended up doing a PET scan and found out that I had the tumor.
Wow. So this was going on really then while you carried the baby, right?
The whole time.
Wow. So was there anything different? Because I know you had a couple kids prior to the last one. Did you notice anything different about your body through that experience there? Carrying the baby?
I had a hard time breathing, like constantly. Like I could get up and just get out the bed and go to the bathroom. I just couldn't breathe. And I was like, well, the doctor was like, well, you are heavier, you are bigger, and you are getting older. So that could contribute to your shortness of breath. And even when I was in labor, I was telling them, like, when I'm pushing, I can't breathe, I can't catch my breath. And they were like, oh, well, you're just bigger. That's why you can't catch your breath. But it's because I had a tumor on my heart. So, yeah.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just tuning in tonight, we are here on Black Girl Beauty Chitter Chatter. And I'm your host tonight. I'm Amanda. And we do have our main host that's with us, Uniqua Managard. And so before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, we want to just take a quick commercial, and we will be right back.
We're actually gonna wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to discuss tonight. And for those of you who are just tuning in, take a moment to like, share, tell a neighbor, tell a friend that Black Girl Beauty Chitter Chatter is on the air. And the commercial that you just saw was about our host, Miss Uniqua Managard. Miss Uniqua is the founder of Black Girl Beauty Performing Arts School. It is a new school. Uniqua's been in the industry for many years, but this is a new school. You guys, we will have auditions coming up. If you have your young children that really want to learn how to model, they have a dream of becoming an actress, they want to learn how to do poetry or even become an author. And guess what else we got exciting that Unique was doing? She is
What?
teaching the youngins age 5 to 17 how to braid. Learn how to braid with Uniqua. All of this
Absolutely.
at Uniqua's Performing Arts School. You can't get it like this anywhere else. So tonight, right at this time, before we go any further, we're going to hear from Miss Uniqua in poetry. In poetry
Absolutely.
form.
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Miss Amanda, for that great introduction, ladies. Of course, you know this is Chitter Chatter, and tonight we are speaking on breast cancer awareness. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we need to inform our community about cancer in general, but especially breast cancer, because it comes to Black women in enormous rates. And everything that every woman is saying here is basically telling us about preparation. You need to check your bodies. You need to inform yourselves. We need to educate ourselves about sicknesses and illnesses, sickle cell included. Because you know, sickle cell is strictly for us. If you don't know, dig into it. We have to start researching sicknesses and diseases that attack us simply so that we can know how to protect ourselves. Eating better, changing your diet, just checking your body to know when and where. Preparation, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we lack in our community. And that is what we're trying to change. Breast cancer awareness is really just to let the world know about breast cancer, what it is, how you can prevent it, how you can check to see if you have it, how you can maintain while you're diagnosed. Preparation. And that is what the poem is going to be speaking on tonight, ladies and gentlemen, because we need to prepare ourselves. If we don't prepare ourselves, then we'll never know. Preparation, ladies and gentlemen.
Preparation. The lack of preparation is what's killing our nation. Everyone hates to plan and most dwell in procrastination. Working the best under pressure is always the explanation. If that's the case, why is there always so much frustration? You forget the little things without realization. That's the best and the quickest way to end up in a crucial situation. Preparation. It begins as a child with you learning to live by stipulations. Your parents are the ones to lay down that foundation, to get you ready for the real world with time, money, and motivation. They teach you the do's and don'ts, giving your future salvation. They lecture or punish you when they see you in stagnation. Your curfew teaches you to be on time and to respect regulation. The lessons you learn at home get you ready for life. It's preparation. When you speak on business, you have to speak on education. Knowledge is the key to success and it builds your qualifications. Never stop yearning to learn or gain new information. When you get where you're going, have all you need so you can fulfill your obligations and hold intelligent conversations with those who share your aspirations. Lay down the building blocks for success. That's preparation. Without it, you're bound to fail and face many complications, ones that could have been avoided with a little dedication to avoid procrastination. But instead you wait and you wait, but there's no justification for not meeting expectations when you had ample time and accommodations. But there was no plan, no preparation. So what is the explication to save our nation from future damnation? It's simple. We fight the temptation to dwell in procrastination so we can reach elevation. Lay down a planning for all explorations. The explication to save our generation's nation is simple. It's preparation. Truth be told.
Awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to turn it back over to your host for tonight, Miss Amanda Manigault. But before I leave, I do want to drop a question for all of you ladies. When you, if and ever you've ever been in a situation, Miss Amanda, well, yours is different. Ladies, Aunt Mary and Anna, when you were in the hospital dealing with your circumstances and trying to get help and medical attention, how do you feel you were treated as not even just a Black woman? How do you feel you were treated, you know, when you came in for your situation? Mary, we're going to start with you, and then Anna, you're going to answer that question.
Okay, I had awesome treatment. I didn't have any problems with the insurance. I'm I'm a state government employee for over 35 years. I had excellent insurance, and I just walk in, walk out, and I got excellent attention. And I don't know whether or not it was because of the insurance or what, but I got excellent treatment. I have no complaint about the treatment I got when I was going through. I mean, all the doctors, all the nurses, everybody that dealt with me, technician, everybody was just so nice and awesome. And I was blessed. I was really blessed.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's take one sip to that. Having your affairs in order. And Miss Amanda is going to speak on this on a later week. When you have your affairs in order, your treatment is a little bit better. A lot of us, in a lot of circumstances and situations, get bad treatment simply because we didn't have our things in order. When we came up to the desk, we needed help figuring out how to do this and how to do that and what we needed to do. When she came up to the desk, she had her insurance ready. She knew what she needed. She knew what she was there for. And that does change your treatment, ladies and gentlemen, whether we want to admit it or not, in the world, period, regardless to if you're a black woman, a white woman, light or dark. When you have your affairs in order, your treatment is better. And as a community, we need to get better on that preparation. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take one sip to that. Anna?
Right. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I want to speak on it from a different perspective. I want to speak coming from those. I want us to get out of ourselves for a minute and go into the world with these people, because I think but the point that she just made was a very important and crucial fact, just like Uniqua just said. So what about these people out here? Because I'm hearing all of this, when I turn on the news, and I'm hearing them talk about the insurance, and then they're cutting this and they're cutting that. And what is your perspective, Aunt Mary, if you can speak on, let's just say you didn't have this insurance, because I'm sure you know somebody who didn't have it. If you didn't have this insurance and you're looking at the people out here in need, Black Girl Beauty is a part of Black Girl Beauty Foundation. So what we do is we like to enlighten women about what it is they can do or what they should do.
Absolutely.
Because she said, have your affairs in order. Everybody is not in that situation, unfortunately. And what can you say to them? What type of advice can you give them? Because I want to know, I'm curious to know if people are even taking this serious with this election right now at this time of the year, because I know a lot of times people are only thinking about the presidential election, and people aren't realizing how crucial this election is coming up right here, and the people that we're putting in office who's making these decisions on our behalf about things like healthcare insurance and things like that. Watching what's going on now, and two people are holding up a whole big, plan to move forward in our world right now. So, Aunt Mary, what can you say on that to people who don't have insurance?
And Anna, you're going to answer the same two questions.
My heart goes out to those people that does not have insurance, because I know it'll probably be tough, for them to get the treatment that they need. And believe it or not, it makes a difference. I do believe, if they do not have insurance, I don't think that they will get the care that they should get, or as much as they need, if it's not for the insurance. But they got so much resources out there now that, that help people, that with cancer. And and because when I went to the hospital, that was the first thing. One of the ladies, that she was a survivor, and she survived herself. She came and said if I needed to, to come to the classes, and they would tell you how to get these resources and stuff like that. Fortunately, I didn't need the resources that they were offering because of my insurance, but they are there. But then I know of someone that did take advantage of it, and she was blessed through it. She got her medication and everything free. And so you have to go to the classes and prepare yourself. If you don't have the insurance to cover what needs to be covered, then you need to. A lot of people say, "Well, I'm not going to those classes," but it means much that you go to those classes. Yeah, go to those classes and find out what they have to offer to you, because there are a lot of resources out there that can help you.
And
All
do
right.
they have classes that actually teach you about what's going on with your body and all of that as well?
Yes, they do. They do. They have
Okay.
they call it a group. They have a group meeting every week or once a month, and it teaches you how the difference. What I guess you get together with other survivors or other cancer patients, and they all talk about what they're going through, and it helps you. If you're just coming in, it helps you to deal with your problems. So yeah, they do. They deal with all of that.
Okay, so one
All
more
right.
question before I ask Anna the same question, because what we're dealing with now, I'm finding in the society when I'm coaching younger people out there, younger people don't believe in this work system. And I heard you say that, you did 35 years with the state, and so your benefits was in
Hold on.
place. But a lot of our younger people, they're not interested in doing 35 years for no company.
We're not interested
So,
in work, period.
so what happens? Because and part of that reason I'm married is because they don't feel like those benefits, those same benefits that you were entitled to, are still available today. Those
Absolutely.
same retirement plans, those same, healthcare insurance. I know a person
And
who's
also
been
in
on the
the
job.
new season, we work smarter, not harder.
I don't know if that's what you want to call it. I'm married. What they like to say, but that's some of
We
their
don't we
thoughts.
don't want to work. We don't want to work.
Well, I've always told my kids, and I hope it holds true, that fringe benefits are just as important as more, not more so than their salary. It's not so much. You want to
Mm-hmm.
make good money, but you want fringe benefits as well because they are good.
Mhm.
And if you get them and hold on to them, they got to come through for you when you need them.
Right.
But
That's
it's
true.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you look at those fringe benefits when you get your job, because it's important.
Absolutely. And
Absolutely. And
that's
so
something
often
that
in
we
our
have.
community, we don't have this conversation. Like preparation is all that this is all about. Keep teaching our children about breast cancer, teaching our children how to prevent themselves from getting breast cancer, how to treat themselves. Your job, ladies and gentlemen, could possibly help you if ever you were to get sick. Tap into your insurance. Tap into all those benefits that they say come with your job package. Tap into those, especially if they have you working all the hours and everything that you've been putting in for. When you get sick or when something happens to you, get yourself taken care of or check yourself before you get sick. A lot of us work these jobs that have these great benefits and we never tap into it because of this whole I don't go to the doctor thing, I don't get myself checked out. A lot of us don't ever go to the doctors. We don't ever know anything is happening to us until we pass out somewhere. Now all of a sudden, I've known women that didn't know they were pregnant until they passed out somewhere. We need to start. If you can, ladies and gentlemen, go to the doctors and get checked out. If you can't, put yourself in a position so that you can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens you. Figure it out, ladies and gentlemen. We have to aware ourselves, make ourselves aware of everything that's going on in our community. Let's take one step to that, ladies. Be
Absolutely. And
aware
Anna,
of
can
what's
you
going
answer
on.
that question, Anna? The question was, what was the
How was
question?
your treatment?
How was my
How was
treatment?
your treatment when you were going in for your circumstances and situations to get treated? And also, the second question that we threw in was go ahead and answer the first one while I remember the second
How do you feel about you?
So I'm gonna be completely honest and say that on my first treatment, I went alone and it was horrible. The nurse that I had, it was a girl that was sitting across from me, of different race, the same race as my nurse, and her mother was with her.
You went mute. Can't hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. So the person who was sitting across from me was another race. She was the same race as the nurse, and every time, and her mother was with her. I was alone. Every time her mother would call her and say, "Oh, excuse me, I need you to do this for my daughter," or "I need you to print this paper out," and the nurse would be walking towards me to give me my next medication, but she would just leave. So I was there for hours and I was alone and it was my first treatment. So in my mind, I'm just like, oh my God, can I really deal with this? I was like very intimidated. I was very overwhelmed, but I'm happy for going through my treatment because it made me less of a passive person. And for the rest of my treatments, my aunt went with me, and she is very vocal. So nothing was gonna happen while she was there. She made
Now
sure.
let me ask you a question. You
I
said
actually have a
less.
question too.
You said less of a passive person.
Yes.
So what you're saying is, in the beginning, you was just kind of listening to whatever they said to you.
Not even listening to whatever I said. Like if she walked over to do something else to somebody, but the timer was going on for me to get my next dose or my next treatment, I would just sit there and not say anything, because I was a person that always felt like uncomfortable confronting somebody or saying something to a person. So I would just be like, okay, well, she'll come over whenever she's done with that person. I didn't say anything. But
ladies and gentlemen,
sorry.
Keep going.
Go ahead.
As time went on, I just became stronger within myself to be able to speak for myself, because not only do I have to speak for myself to make sure I'm getting the treatment that I need, when I'm going to all these other exams and checkups, I need to talk to my doctor and tell them, hey, no, this is what's going on. This is how I feel. And if I don't like make them understand what I'm going through or what I'm saying, they'll just pass me off like they were doing all the other times, and I won't get the treatment that I'm supposed to get.
Absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely.
So
Ladies
let
and
me
gentlemen,
ask you
in our
another question,
community,
Anna.
one second, Miss Amanda, one second. In our community, something that is so popular, ladies and gentlemen, and I want all of you ladies to take a second to think about this, because this is something that we all do. You said, Anna, that you went to your first appointment alone, and that brings me
I was
to
going to
the
ask that
question that
same
I want to
question.
ask you. So often in our community, we as Black women will suffer alone in silence about everything. It doesn't matter what it is. So my question to you is, why did
That was
you
my
feel
same
like
question.
why would you go alone to the, not saying that you needed somebody, but why when you want someone there to support, just to be there in that moment? Because like this is breast cancer awareness, ladies and gentlemen. Breast cancer in any shape or form is nothing to play with. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to feel like you're weak about. It's nothing for any Black woman or any woman, period, to feel like makes her less than. And that is what makes a lot of us suffer in silence. We feel like somehow, some way we're weak, and we want to make ourselves strong again. And we go through these things alone, and we just tough it out. We don't tell nobody. And then when something happens to us, everybody in the world is just like, well, what was going on? I would have done this. I would have done that. I would have done this. Whether they would or would not, we didn't even give those people a chance to be there for us because we suffered in silence. So, Christiana, my question to you is, why did you feel like going alone before? But because eventually you got the in your bag and you took Auntie with you. Why did you feel like going at it alone in the beginning? What was going on? What type of mind state were you in? And this also affects the treatment that you may have gotten when you went. Because sometimes people don't pay us no mind because they see we don't pay us no mind. Sometimes people, when you come in the office and when you know, this is what I got going on. This is what I need. This is who need to be paying me some attention. I've been in here this long. Ain't nobody said nothing. Like, same thing when you get pulled over by the police officer. When they know you know your rights, they speak to you a little differently. So why is it that you went at that alone? And do you think that affected your treatment?
Honestly, I went alone because I felt like it was a stressful situation. I didn't want to put that burden on anybody else. I'm serious. I was like, everybody's stressed out. Everybody's worried about me. I'm like, I can do this. I'm going to go. I'm going to get my treatment. I'll be good. Pick me up after I'm done with treatment. I'll go home, do the things that I'm supposed to do when I get home. But honestly, I'm glad that my aunt started coming with me, because
Absolutely.
when you're getting that medication and you feel the way you feel while you're getting it, and I opened my eyes and I saw her sitting there, I was like, okay, I can deal with this.
Wow.
But
that's beautiful. Let's take one sip to that, ladies. Let your loved ones love
well,
on
see,
you.
my question,
You guys are
Anna,
going through
I'm
this.
glad you shared that, because I think that, remember, we're really enlightening the African American women. And I know even for myself, not cancer, but I have went through a lot of things by myself, because I felt like just what you said. Well, I don't want people to worry, or I don't want, I want to find out before I share it with somebody. I like to know the truth. All of that stuff. We play these mind games with ourselves. But the truth of the matter is what Uniqua said has a lot of truth too, because she said sometimes that matters on the treatment in many ways. Because I really believe when you're going through things, whether it's in the hospital, whether it's in the courtroom, whether it's on the job, when things happen in your life and you go at it alone, oftentimes people think you don't have a support system. And sometimes they will treat you a certain kind of way, and it does affect your outcome when you go by yourself. So I'm learning that we do have to reach out and let go of, I would say, pride, or let go of just feeling like I don't want to worry anybody, and realize that that's what family is for. People who love you, that's what that is for. And that's why God brought us here, because we are here as one. But I'm glad you shared that, Anna. And then that next question.
Hold on, wait, ladies. If you're just now tuning in, this is Chatter, and it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, ladies. We are speaking about breast cancer. We are informing each other about cancers, and it's bringing us to a whole lot of other conversations that Black women need to be aware of. It's awareness moment. We need to be informed of, like Miss Amanda was just saying, sometimes when we don't make it clear that we need help, and when we don't speak up what we're going through, when we hide that we have cancer, or when we hide that we're going through illness, not only do people mistreat you because they see you don't have a support system, you put more on you. You're already going through cancer. You're already dealing with the sickness in your body. Now you're also dealing with the pressure of having to deal with it alone. Now you're also dealing with the pressure of having to deal with it alone while still maintaining your bills and taking care of your kids and being a Black woman, because that don't stop. This is what we are speaking of. This is the reason why we speak about this, ladies, because we as Black women, we need to take some burdens off of ourselves. Lean on your loved ones. And I'm going to tell you, sometimes a lot of us don't have a lot of loved ones, but we have a lot of people in our lives that, oh, you need anything, call me. Oh, I'll be here for you. Pull your bluff. And those, stop being so prideful that you don't pull people's bluff. Like, a lot of us be like, you know what, if they would have, they would have said something. If they wanted to do this, they would have did that. No, sometimes when you're in need, we as Black women have to understand, pull people's bluff. It's like, you're not less than because somebody told you they was going to do something and you asked them about it. Hey,
and I also think, Niqua, that it comes from us being tough women.
Absolutely.
It comes from us as being tough women. We're raising these kids, and we just always feel like we have to, or we can handle it, or I got it, or it's not that serious. But the good part about it is when Anna got to the point where she knew that it was more serious than what she realized, that she did bring somebody in. And she said when she was going through those treatments, she opened up her eyes and she saw her aunt sitting there. That was another blessing in itself, being that I know I'm not here alone, that if I can't get up and walk on my own, or if I get to throwing up or anything, my aunt is right here. She got my back. So that was an awesome thing. So Anna, what do you feel like the health system, do you feel like the health system, because I would say you're younger than Aunt Mary, so your experience is probably a little different than hers as far as healthcare and things of that nature. I remember being your age and being a young parent at your age. So I know things were always a little different. And I know when I was your age, Anna, I'm just going to be very, very honest. I wasn't thinking about no healthcare insurance. I was an entrepreneur and I was thinking about money. But Aunt Mary said something that's very key. She said, I tell my kids that those fringe benefits is just as important as the money. And see, back, young people, we're in a habit of thinking, if I'm not sick, I don't need no insurance. So I ain't thinking about no insurance. But we have to think about our future, or not even the future, the present circumstances, things happen. So what is your experience and your thoughts on that part, Anna? Do you feel like our healthcare system is a good healthcare system for us, or do you think?
And what is a tip that you can give a lady?
I would say that the healthcare system was good as far as my experience with insurance because I didn't have to pay for anything. Even though my husband and I are self-employed, we still choose to get insurance because we have 4 young children. So if anything happens to us, we have to be able to go to the doctor because who's going to take care of them? But I had no issues with health insurance. And I know that for people who don't, like to piggyback off of what Miss Mary said, there are tons of resources for people with cancer. But I will say, when you start looking into those resources, it can become overwhelming because it's so much information to look through.
Good. It's better to have so much than not any at all.
Right, absolutely.
Now, the next question I want to ask you, Anna, because you was pregnant. How did you feel going through this, knowing I got this baby here mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually? Because I know when people hear cancer, all types of things go through their mind. You know, do I have this in order? Do I have that in order? Can I do this? What if this happens? What if that happens? We start thinking about everything. What went through your mind when this hit your life and you first found out and you had this newborn baby and 3 other children that are under 10 years old?
And
What were
also
you
knowing your
thinking?
family history.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to get to that too, but we're going to talk about the baby.
It was, I was like in shock. I went into the doctor a week after having my daughter because I was having trouble breathing continuously through the pregnancy and then after. So I'm just like telling my husband, this is not normal. I've had the baby. I still can't breathe. Like I felt like I was drowning. And so when I went to the emergency, my doctor said, go to the emergency room. I went to the emergency room. They tested me to see if I had blood clots. And then they gave me an EKG. They said, well, your heart rate is abnormal, but it's nothing to be concerned about. And then they say, oh, well, we found 2 small blood clots, but it's nothing to be concerned about. And I told them, I said, well, I can't breathe and I don't want to leave the hospital because I feel the same. I feel like I came here for no reason. So he called my OBGYN and he said, okay, well, just give her a CAT scan and check her to see if it's anything else. And the doctor came in the room, sat next to me in the chair and said, oh, well, Miss McCarty, I just want to tell you that we found a tumor on your chest and you have cancer, and got up and walked out the room. And the nurse came in with my discharge papers.
Oh my God, are you serious?
So I heard what I had and I was just like, okay.
Now, that the day you was there by yourself?
Well, I was in the emergency room. Well, at that time it was COVID, so you have to go by yourself. So yes, I was in the emergency room by myself. I heard it. I was just like, oh, okay. It kind of just caught me off guard. I really didn't know how to feel.
Exactly. It's heartless.
And then how did you think about the baby, Anna? What was your first reaction about your kids and this newborn baby?
Honestly, like to talk on what Uniqua was saying, when I found out I had cancer, my first thought was, my mom died from cancer and I just had a baby, and that's basic. I felt like I was going through the exact same thing that she went through, and I was like, I just can't die.
Right. Wow.
Right. And that's a tough position to be in. And we as Black women, we when we get in those situations, that's another reason why I wanted to highlight the fact that even in the midst of that, with that's where your mind was, you still wanted to go at it alone. That is what we do to ourselves as Black women. And even her, I was on her neck about being alone, and when you have, we want to be strong and we want to be tough, but sometimes even when we want to be, we shouldn't be, and God is placing people in our lives that don't allow us to be. And that's why sometimes being a giver, you don't know how to receive. And moments when circumstances and situations happen like this, we need to be able to be like, you know what? Okay, I'll let you do that. Okay, come with me. Okay, you know what? Maybe I need to take a breath, because there is some type of relief that we need in this moment, because the information that we're receiving, on top of Like that's not something that's not news that you get. It's not like, oh, you know what, it might rain today. It's a completely different element. It's a completely different circumstance. And we as Black women, we handle everything like, oh, you know what, it might rain today. But that's not how we have to move through life. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now tuning in, it is Chitter, and we have been speaking about breast cancer, really awareness period, ladies. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And in our community, we need to take moments where we inform each other of the possibilities, what you could do, what you should do, and who you can go to when circumstances and situations happen. Breast cancer is something that is so common in our community. We need to know what we can do, how to prevent it. Treatment matters. We have to be treating ourselves well as expecting these doctors and fix doctors to treat us correctly. We're gonna pass the mic back over to Miss Amanda. She is our host for tonight. And
I can't tell them the host. She done took over the show, y'all. But okay, thank you, Uniqua. Anyway, Aunt Mary, I wanted to ask you this question because you're my aunt, number one, and you've had a couple sisters or a sister, I'm not quite sure, family members who have experienced or have left us, gone before us, who experienced cancer. What was your experience? And Aunt, I want you to ask this too. You didn't answer it all the way, but what was your experience having someone in your family going through that battle? And you know, you been, especially it being someone close to your heart,
and lose that battle.
And so what was your experience with that? How can you help somebody else get through that? Somebody who may be going through that right now with a family member. How can you help us with that? How can you explain that to us?
I don't really know. I do know that it helps when you know or have known someone that's been through it, because of course you communicated with them and they told you about their experience and everything. But I will say this, everyone's experience is not the same. Mm-hmm. Now my sister had breast cancer. She passed away, and it wasn't the breast cancer that killed her, by the way. She had a heart condition too, and that was what happened. She went without her medicine longer than she should have. But what I'm saying, when everyone's experience with it is different. I had a couple of nieces that had it, and they went through it well, and they called me and talked with me and you know, and prayed with me and told me, you know, just to have faith, and that's what I gotta say. By the grace of God, I do have my faith is what brought me through, and my awesome family. And I just listened to Anna, and I'm just so sorry she had to went on her first trip alone. But I never went to a treatment alone. Never. Even now, even my follow-ups, I don't go alone. It's always somebody with me. And like you say, that makes a difference. That helps you out. And it was very helpful to me. But back to the experience with my sister, when she went through her treatment, her chemo, it made her so sick she could not. I mean, we would just have to go by there and just, she's in the bed, she couldn't get up, she couldn't eat, she just threw up everything. But guess what? It didn't even bother me. I didn't even know I had it. You know, I took chemo and I took radiation, and I was up and about. I was never slumbering and lying around and everything. I just bounced through it. And because when I was diagnosed, and I find out that I was diagnosed and the doctor said I had it, my daughter was with me. She looked at me. She said, "Mama," she said, "did you hear what the doctor said? It said it's cancerous." I said, "I heard it." I said, "But it's in the Lord's hand. Whatever He said," I said, "He's gonna take me through it." And it did. And from that day to this one, I feel the same way today. I knew I was in the hands of the Lord. And and I can't even leave the show tonight without saying it was the grace of God that brought me through, and He's still keeping me. Yeah, and you know, so it was, you know,
like
going through it with somebody. Yeah, going through it with my sister and all that, and you know, and I knew she had it, and I knew how it did her, but it was a completely different situation with me, completely.
Wow.
God is good.
And like she said, everybody's experience is different. Anna, what was your experience? I know you were very young. You were a baby when your mother passed away. But even to this day, as an adult, when it's your mother, I think it's always something that holds dear and near, even though you didn't get to build that relationship with her. What is your experience today that you went through that, not having your mother around and knowing that she carried you and then she passed, right? You were 1 year old, right? When she passed.
She was buried on my first birthday.
So as you grew up, Anna, what was your experience with that, knowing how? And then when you heard, like you said, that was probably the first thing. It was almost like deja vu, like, am I repeating the same thing, the same exact way my mother experienced it?
Miss Amanda, light up.
It was it's crazy to say, but my whole life I never really had a connection with my mother. Mm-hmm. But going through the experience, I felt really connected to her because I felt like I understood what she went through. Mm. Yeah. Mm.
And did that make you fight harder?
It did, but no, honestly, the same as Miss Mary, how she said that she just knew that it was in God's hand. I felt the same way. Mm-hmm. I feel like I floated through it and it was just over. And I was just like, it was there and it was gone.
So you got said it is gone. How did you feel? You knew that God had answered your prayer, right?
Yes. I knew from the beginning that my prayer was answered.
Wow. Right, so listen, ladies and gentlemen, it is almost 9 o'clock. I want to thank you ladies for joining us, but this is what I want to close on. God said that he will provide our every need. He didn't say some needs. Amen. He said he will provide our every need. He said all things are possible to him that love God, to those that love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. So we don't have to go through anything alone. I knew Anna had a good family as well, even though she didn't call on them in the beginning. And see, those are things that we as young people have to experience and have to learn. But Aunt Mary, being a little bit older, she knew she wasn't walking through that alone. And so I'm here to tell y'all tonight, even if you don't have somebody, because there's some people out there right now listening to this live, there are going to be some people that's going to come through a little bit later on that's listening to this live. Don't you be a fool out there now. See, a fool is these people out here saying that there's no God. A fool are these people out here thinking that they don't believe. They're not taking the time to get to know God. But for those who got to know him, for those who believe, they will not walk through this world alone. I don't care what nobody say. This is Black Girl Beauty Foundation. We represent Trinity. We believe in God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. We have no shame in it. We talk about it. I take him everywhere I go. We take him everywhere we go. This show would not be possible if it wasn't for his grace and his mercy. We wouldn't have food on the table if it wasn't for him. We would not be here tonight if it wasn't for him. So both of these ladies tonight, both of our guests tonight told us about their experiences, but the bottom line is they had something in common. And what they had is they had to depend on God. So amen. Out there tonight who may be experiencing any type of sickness, any type of disbelief, any type of hardship, know that there is somebody that we can call on. You can go in a closet, you can get on your knees, you can go on your job, you can get in your car. It doesn't matter where you go. He is available to you 24/7. And also, you can contact us here on Black Girl Beauty. Here we have our information right here. And you can go to our website, www.blackgirlbeauty.org. You can put your email address in, get on our mailing list, stay connected. If you go to this website, you'll also see a contact form at the bottom. If there's any more information you would like to know about breast cancer awareness, or about anything that we can help you with. If you want to have some more additional questions for our guests, put them in the comments and we will definitely try to get to our guests and ask them. But feel free to tap into this network. We are Black Girl Beauty, and this is Chitter Chatter, you guys. And so I'm going to let Uniqua close out. But before that, let's have our guests say a final word. Mary, can you say a final word before we close out?
Yeah, I just want to thank you all for having me on as a guest. I've enjoyed the show, and I've enjoyed Miss Anna. What's her name? I enjoyed I enjoyed you, and I want to say congratulations to you for being a breast cancer survivor. And I thank God for you.
Absolutely.
Glad to meet you. Yeah, and I pray my prayers for you and your family.
Thank you.
Thank
you,
you.
Unique and Amanda, for having me on.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Auntie.
I would say thank you for having us on, and I would say thank you for bringing this out to people, because a lot of Black women, they don't check themselves, they don't go to the doctor, and they don't take it serious, and it's very serious.
Absolutely. Wow. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of my guests for coming in. Miss Amanda, I'd like to thank you as well. This is Black Girl Beauty, ladies and gentlemen. We discuss what matters. When Black women, we discuss everything that we don't normally discuss. We don't often talk about things that bother us, things that we deal with, things that affect us as Black women. No, breast cancer is not strictly to us, but breast cancer is not educated to us the way it needs to be educated. Breast cancer is not handled as severely as it should be handled when it comes to us. We need to inform each other what it is, how we can get it treated, where we can go, and we need to also inform each other of how to take care of ourselves if and when we find out we have anything. If you break a nail, Black sister, go to the hospital and get it fixed. Don't go to the hospital and get it fixed. But you see where I'm going with this. Take care of yourselves. Check out yourself. Don't wait for someone to tell you that something is wrong with you. No one should be able to tell you that something is wrong with your body and you knew nothing. Like someone tells you that you should be able to know that anything that's going on. And if not, like Miss Amanda said, you know how to get through it. God, you can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens you. Earlier in the episode, if you were listening, there was a moment where I said something about what we can't do. And then I said, you know what you can do? You can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens you. And that is fact. I would take one sip of that, but you know how I feel. We're not going to take. But we're going to tell you can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens you. Don't ever use the word can't. If there is someone out here who is dealing with any sickness or illness or something that you feel has made you weak or something that you are going through alone, step out, tap in. You can send us a DM. You can join our Black Girl Beauty group on Facebook. We have conversations that matter because we don't often have it. We don't have a place where we can go and we can fellowship and have conversations that strictly pertain to us. Like Anna said, when she went into the doctors, she was mistreated. She didn't feel comfortable. It may just have to do with the age. Sometimes as young Black women, we're treated very differently than sometimes as unseasoned Black women. We're treated very differently as seasoned Black women. Excuse me. That is why these conversations are so important. That is why these guests were so important. We have a seasoned guest and we have an unseasoned guest, and they're speaking about their experiences and how it pertains to them as Black women. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, on Chitter.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Whoa, wait a minute. I don't know if anybody knows, but ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't know, it is Scorpio season. I had to say it just like that. It's Scorpio season, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Amanda's birthday was on Monday, but we moved on past that. We moving on to the best day of the year, which is November 6th. 1990 was the best day in the world. But November 6th, 2020, the Queen turns 30 again. And we are celebrating in the most beautiful way here on Chitter Chatter, November 4th, next week. Tune in because I'm going to be enjoying my family and fellowshipping and speaking and showing you how we Black women from the south side of Atlanta, we are celebrating Le Queen. who is turning 30 again. If you're coming to my party, we're calling the 30-30. Don't nobody come in here and say nothing about what the cake say, because the cake gonna say 30, and we rolling with it. So let's Miss Amanda, did you have something that you wanted to say?
You said it all. I'm going to play the commercial before we leave out, and then we'll close out right after that. Thank you again, ladies. It has been indeed a plum-pleasing pleasure, as well as even though I wasn't the host tonight, y'all, she took over. She was the host. She was her own host.
As long as you know. As long as you know.
Good night, everyone. We'll end with this commercial.